Hi, Center Point Urbana families. This is Mr. Haslett. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the principal of the intermediate building, third, fourth, and fifth grade over here in Urbana. And I want to share some information with you that's specific to the intermediate building. You will notice that there are quite a few similarities to all the four buildings since we've worked a lot together. There will be even more similarities between this plan and the plan at the primary, since our buildings are structured very similar, where the middle school and high school have different structures to their buildings and how they're set up. So I'm going to go ahead and share a PowerPoint presentation with you, and we'll get through this as quickly as possible. I know it's going to be longer than I had hoped, but I'm just trying to get as much information to you as we have in place as of today, August 10th. So first of all, I want people to know that we are so excited to get the year started. It's been way too long since we've had kids in the building, and really looking forward to that first day on August 24th to be starting school again. You'll notice that as we get into the school year that really there hasn't been a ton that have changed. We're the same building, same teachers, and same great place to learn. I think we're one of the most sought after schools in eastern Iowa, and the main reason for that is because of the kids that we have here, the great support that we have from our community and families, and I think also because we have some of the best teachers in the state of Iowa and across the nation. We are just a great place to learn. So the teachers and I have met quite a bit over this extended break that we've had, and we all know that our number one priority is to keep everyone safe. And then also we want to make sure that this is continuing to be, like I said earlier, the best learning environment across the nation and for sure in the state of Iowa. And that's going to be everyone's job. We're all going to have to take a part in how to continue the great things that we're doing, and also to make sure that everyone does stay safe. So the daily schedule has stayed pretty similar to what it has been in the past. We may have to make some changes. Pretty much everything that I say is as it is from August 10th and August 11th. Things could change, but we definitely are going to continue tweaking things to make it even better as we continue to move on and get school started and see where we need to make changes. We have had some children or some families that have chosen to start the school year online, and I just want those people to know, first of all, that you are continuing to be Center Point Urbana students and families, and we definitely want you to have the best experience possible in that online experience that you have. The Edmentum is the program that we are offering to families, and it looks like a great program. I know that Grant Wood has suggested it to us, and as we've looked at it, we agree that it's a great program. We will be having parent meetings coming up, or a parent meeting. We will be finding out if you do need a device. We will have Chromebooks for those who are choosing that Edmentum option. There will be an onboarding procedures for you to get started, so you'll get information about that. And you're going to have a Center Point Urbana teacher who's helping to monitor that progress that you're making. There will not be any individual teaching from that Center Point Urbana teacher, but they will be there to continue to monitor their progress and answer questions that you may have. I know that has not been an easy decision for people, and I know there's some people still kind of on the fence with what they're going to do. But just know that we're going to continue to support whatever decision you make as a family. Meet and greet, for those of you who are coming back face-to-face, we, as of now, we do plan on it being in person, and The format will be a little bit different because we're going to schedule like parent-teacher conferences. We're going to have 3 families sign up for every 20-minute slot. So up to 3 families could be in the classroom at one time during that 20-minute slot that you have. We do ask that you try to, and we know that not everyone can, but try to keep it to parents and the child that's going to be attending this building to keep the numbers down. But we know that you're going to be running from building to building, and if you need to bring the whole family, that certainly is understandable. The reasons that we do want to hold this in person is that students have not been in the building for 5 months. We want to get people back in the building, hopefully easing anxieties about getting back here into the building, drop off any materials so you don't have to be trying to bring those in on the first day, because we will only allow students in the building on the first day. Fill out any paperwork that you need, see the child's classroom, meet the teachers, and get any questions that you have answered. I know that's going to be an exciting night for our teachers and for our students. Health services, we do share a nurse with the primary school, and she will be sending out some information on a screencast and paper soon. So look for more details about when to stay home, COVID symptoms, taking temperatures at home, and how we're going to keep students with COVID symptoms separate from those that are coming in the nurse's office for daily medication visits and any other health items that she has. I know that she's been working a lot this summer too to get prepared for this school year. We have used guidance from the CDC and from our public health, our county public health departments to make decisions on what's best here in the intermediate building. And we're going to do the best we can. One thing to know is that those mitigation practices are very fluid. We continue to get guidance that changes, and we make adjustments when we get guidance. So it is everyone's responsibility to make sure people are safe. So we're going to really do a lot of education with teachers and kids here at school to make sure that they know the procedures that are in place that need to be followed. And we will have many people wearing face coverings, and that could be a mask, it could be a shield, it could be a combination of those, or gaiters. Those would be the 3 main ones, but I think the most common will probably be a mask. Mitigation practices, entering and exiting the building. Everyone will be using hand sanitizer as they enter and exit the building, whether it's at the beginning of the day or at a recess. We will be using multiple entrances. In the past, we've had all kids come in together in one entrance, but we're going to be kind of going in 3 separate directions when we come in the building with our 3 different grade levels. And we'll have hand sanitizing stations in the building and a place in the classroom for people to use that sanitizer. Classes, we are planning on keeping each class together. This is a question I probably have been asked the most, but we are going to keep classes together throughout the day. So we're not going to start interventions till October. We kind of want to see how things are going. If we can't do interventions, I mean, we really feel like that's an important part of what we do, but we'll figure out how to do them as safely as possible. We have done small group reading in the past where children have rotated to different classrooms. We're not going to start that till September. And when we do start that, that's going to either be done within the classroom, within that homeroom classroom with like 3 different groups, or we're going to connect with a teacher over Zoom, and the students will stay in their homeroom classroom. Children will all go to specials together like they haven't been in the past, and also they will not be able to choose where they sit at lunch throughout the entire cafeteria. They're going to need to sit together as a homeroom. Hallways. Our hallways are a little different here in the intermediate than some of the other buildings. We will be planning on when children are moving in groups, it's going to be a one-way clockwise pattern that people are going. I say when weather permits because there is one section of the hallway down by the 3rd grade classrooms where we don't have an option to 2 ways or of 1 way unless we go outside, and we do plan on doing that when weather permits. When it doesn't, then we're going to have to make that hallway a 2 way. Children will stay to the right. They'll stay 4 to 6 feet behind the child in front of them. And each homeroom is going to watch so that our homerooms stay together. And we're going to keep space between their homeroom and the next when moving in the hallways. So if a teacher is going to bring their children into the hallway, they will make sure that the hallway is clear and there's space for their class to go out before they go. Children will socially distance while waiting in the hallway for restroom breaks too. Always keeping that preferably 6 feet. There will be times where we're 4 to 6 feet away, but we try to keep that 6 feet as much as possible. And same thing in the classroom. We want to try to keep them 6 feet away, but that's not going to be possible in a classroom of 18 to 20 students. There's not enough room to get everyone 6 feet away. But we will use hand sanitizer, and preferably in the classroom, if there's a sneeze or something like that, we'll use soap and water, wash their hands whenever possible. The hand sanitizer is used more when we need to get a whole group through, and it needs to be quick. Classroom teachers are trying to declutter their classrooms as much as possible so we can spread throughout that classroom as much as possible. Tables will have fewer children at them for those classrooms that do have tables. Very few here, so we'll really spread out desks as much as possible. So we will do as much as we can when sitting on the floor too, that we keep children as far apart as possible. The lunchroom, we'll use hand sanitizer on the way in and the way out. And so they will wash their hands when they get back to the classroom. Students will socially distance in lines to the best extent possible. We're going to have more tables in the lunchroom to really spread children out. We do plan on adults handing out milk and condiments to students. And if an adult does have an assisted child, which doesn't happen quite as much, but you still have to help some open up packages or containers here in the intermediate building. The adult will have their hands sanitized prior to that. And after helping that child, they will sanitize to be ready for that next child that may need help. Main difference in the lunchroom, as I mentioned earlier, is all of our classes are going to be eating together. They will not spread and intermingle within the 5 classes in each grade level. Still, if students do bring their own lunch, try to send things that your child can open. We do have a microwave available for children, and they'll just need to socially distance as they're waiting for that. And we'll see how that goes to start the year. I do know in the lunchroom they're going to use more individually wrapped items for children that are eating school lunch. That I don't know exactly what that'll look like, but I think it's more like the fruits and vegetables and that type of thing will be in individual cups instead of them serving it at the window in a big container. So lunchrooms will be clean between each group of students, and there will be no visitors at this time. Recesses, we will use hand sanitizer on the way out to recess and coming back into the building. Students will not wear face coverings during recess. They will be, we may, and haven't decided this 100%, but we may assign children to a certain area for a recess session every time and rotate those. Still kind of going back and forth between that, but we have a lot of room where children can really socially distance, and we are going to limit the activities they can do. We're not going to play football or soccer. The games that we're doing are going to allow for kids to be apart more. So we will lines, like if they're waiting for Foursquare, they will socially distance as much as possible, and we will sanitize that equipment after every time they use it. It'll only be used for 1 grade level, so we'll use it for 3rd grade, and then that will be taken out, and we'll sanitize that for the next time 3rd grade has recess, and 4th grade will have their own equipment that they bring out. specials, as much as possible, we're going to continue, like we talked about, that socially distance within those classrooms. Um, and each of these teachers have been thinking a lot about what can they do in their own classroom to make it as safe as possible. So we'll continue to work with those teachers to try to make sure that things are in the best, safest way when we go to those specials classes. But our specials have always been one group that's gone together, and it'll continue to be that way. For one classroom will go together. Volunteers and visitors, we won't be having any volunteers at this time. From time to time, we do have high school volunteers over here and parent volunteers, visitors coming to eat breakfast or lunch. We're really looking forward to when we'll be able to do that again. But to start the year, we're going to just try to keep as many of the adults as our same adults are here in the building every day, and not allow any visitors or volunteers for right now. Face coverings, I know this is a very sensitive topic, and I definitely have been thinking about this probably as much as anything over the past month or so, and throughout this entire pandemic. First of all, I want people to know, just myself, I'm not a very political person. I understand the importance of politics, but most everything that happens, I can understand both sides of things. And it's no difference for face coverings. I can understand both sides of people who feel very strongly about them wearing them, and people who don't. But I do want you to know that myself, I have definitely I've moved from a person that has not been wearing a face covering when this started to anytime I'm in public now, most of the time I'm wearing a face covering going into stores and that type of thing. The main reason I do that is because I want people to feel safe when they're around me. So it's not really wearing it for myself more than it is for others. But, our face coverings are strongly recommended because we do want people to feel safe. And the intermediate staff will wear face coverings for that reason. And our teachers at times will be wearing a mask. They may need to wear a shield at times because it is a little harder to hear when they are wearing a mask. We will make sure that it covers mouth and nose, and we will work with the children who choose to wear those face coverings, whose families choose for them to wear them, and wearing them properly. So each student will be given a lanyard so they can clip their face covering. Like if they're in the lunchroom, don't have pockets, they can clip to the lanyard so that they don't lose them or forget them. And at meet and greet, you will be asked a question just so we know what your child's going to do. Will your child be wearing a face covering? Do we need to provide one? If you do not have one, they are meant to be, the cloth face coverings to be cleaned, washed every day. So I know there will be quite a few people that will have multiple and just kind of be switching to a different one every day. But we really want people to feel, I would like as many people as possible to wear them, but definitely we are going to respect and make sure that the children know to respect each individual decision. So water fountains, we will not be using water fountains during the day other than for filling. And we have one water bottle filling station in the building right now, and we have some more on order. So hopefully those will be in, if not by the start of the school, very shortly after we get the school year started. I believe we're going to have 3 water bottle filling stations. So ask your child to bring their water bottle. We do have sinks in all the classrooms, so they could be filled there. Cleaning. Cleaning is when we will be using soap and water on surfaces. That doesn't kill germs, but we also will be disinfecting using an approved EPA cleaner. And for that cleaner, we need to have that sit on the surface for 5 minutes before it's wiped off or just left on the surface if it can dry there. It's effective for 24 hours after it's put on the surface, as long as we don't use the soap and water to wipe it off. So we're going to have at least all those high touch surfaces like the desk, the chairs, other high touch surfaces in the building or in the classroom will be hit at least once a day. And if we do change classrooms later in the year, they'll be used after other people use that classroom. And for fifth grade, that's one that we will need to do because they are in two different classrooms. At least 4 of the 5 classes switch for half the day. And so we'll make sure that we have that disinfected as they switch. Common areas will also be disinfected throughout the day. Socially distancing, we've already hit on this quite a bit, but we will have students who will put hands out to make sure that they're 6 feet away from, or try to be that 4 to 6 feet away from that person in front of them. We will put marks on the floor in the cafeteria so that children know, just like you've seen in most convenience stores or grocery stores, to kind of mark off where that next person should stand. And we'll also have some sitting dots and ways that teachers can socially distance when they need to also. Buses are going to load from back to front, and you may have heard this in other presentations. I know there are quite a few families that are going to choose to, if they're able to drop off and pick up children on their own instead of using the buses this year. We will try to have families sit together and sit with the same people when possible. They will be clean between the morning and afternoon routes, and students will be recommended to wear a face covering during the bus ride. Facing forward is going to be really recommended, and that we definitely want the children not to be facing each other on the bus. So socially distance as much as possible, especially on the routes where there's more room, so children aren't sitting together right next to each other. So what can you do as families? First of all, continue doing what you've been doing. We've heard so many positive comments. I really appreciate all the support that we've had as a district. It's a difficult time for everyone, and your support is going to be what helps get us through this. So really appreciate it. I keep on talking to people about the word grace, and we really need to just continue to think that the school year, because we're all trying to do the best we can for all the kids and for each individual student and child. And just know that we're going to have different opinions, but our intentions are always going to be to do what's best for all the children here at school. Be positive with your child, and I know you already are. We can't wait to see them, practicing at home. If you're going to have your child wearing a face covering, start with just a couple minutes, try to get longer. It does take some getting used to. So here in the next couple of weeks, practice and try to get longer with that. We will have breaks. There will be times when teachers can take their children outside, and maybe it's during a read aloud where they can spend 15 to 20 minutes outside, get them spaced apart. Some learning can be done outside easily. Some is a little bit more difficult. We will have a place in the classroom where children, if they are wearing a face covering, they can go and take a break if they feel like they need to. Sign up for a meet and greet slot. You should see that live on the 13th, so that you can get a time signed up to come in. Have a backup plan. The information that we receive from Linn County Public Health is that if we do have a positive case, they will trace that. And so that tracing probably will be that if a child tests positive, that whole class will have to quarantine for 14 days. So we just have to be ready for that. If that happens, our classroom teachers will be prepared to teach in online. So it'll be actually the CPU teacher that will be teaching those children. It will be much different than what we've done in the past, because it's not going to be just trying to keep those relationships. It's going to be learning that will take place. Our teachers took classes this summer to get prepared for this, and I feel like our teachers will be prepared to teach online in a case where we need to shift to that. So If an individual child has to quarantine or a couple children in class, I think that's going to be the toughest because our teachers are going to be teaching class all day. They'll keep connected with those children as much as possible and continue to send work home. And we're continuing to look for how to do that better as we're having discussions with teachers. So we'll do everything we can to try to keep people healthy so that we don't have an outbreak. But we just want you to be prepared to know that there are situations that could happen when children do have to quarantine, and it could be the entire class. So your teacher will teach them if they do need to. If you're a face-to-face person, your classroom teacher will stay with that class, whether it's one person or many people that have to quarantine. So please use those mitigation measures when entering the school on that first day. You will not be able to walk your child down the hallway. You can drop them off, walk them up to the door. But I know in the intermediate building, most people are riding buses or walking or getting dropped off at the car. The circle drive by the flagpole is a great place to drop your child off. Keep them on the passenger side so they can hop off onto the sidewalk and keep the traffic moving. Remember the ERegister. The earlier you can do that, the better. It helps to update our Power School. So we need to get to 100% on that every year. And our secretaries work really hard to get as many as they can, as fast as they can. So thank you for taking care of that. It is everyone's responsibility to do these mitigation measures to try to make sure that we all keep safe, so socially distance when possible, and remember, I think wearing face coverings is definitely an important part of this, and hand sanitizing, washing your hands often, and we appreciate everyone in what you're doing. So I want to thank everyone again for your time and your patience. And this again, like I said, it went much longer than I had hoped that it would. But if you do have any questions, concerns, feel free to reach out to me at any time. I want to try to make this transition back to school as successful as possible for everyone. Enjoy your last couple weeks of summer and look forward to seeing you all at meet and greet and on that first day of school. So take care.